Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. Great to be with you today. Today is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. We get together most weekday mornings, 8 o'clock Central. We talk about the grant, our nonprofit, and how we really help two different groups of people. The first of which are entrepreneurs, small business owners. Whether it's someone that already has a business or is looking to form one, we are administering a grant to assist them. And my goal over the next few minutes is to get you up to speed on how we can help that group of individuals. And then our second group that we work with are entrepreneurs that are looking to help others and earn an income. And we call that our affiliate platform. So let me get the affiliate side out of the way quickly first, and then we're going to spend most of our time talking about how the grant and our nonprofit can help small business owners. So, here in the center of this somewhat busy screen, we are having our 501 South Pacific Daily Zoom. Our website is 509pacific.org, as is shown on the left. We have a support line that's for texting. Sometimes people like to call that. It's normally not answered. It's a text support line. We have a different number that's answered, of course. Text support line 903-347-8042. We do post our past training videos on YouTube, and this is where you'll find them. From a strategic big picture mission perspective, our 501c3 nonprofit has received a grant, and we have three mandates, three things that we are focused on doing. The first of which is to improve financial literacy. And I realize those of you that are on the Zoom today or listening to it, you probably don't need this part, but there's a lot of people in our society, they don't know what you and I know. They don't understand what it takes to have a fundable business. There's a lot of people that want money, that want funding, but what you and I know is we first must have a fundable business. Now, there's different types of funding and different underwriting criteria, but building that financial literacy is a big part of what we do. And for those of you that are distribution partners, I know that that's important to you as well. The second is we're giving away free shelf corps. And I'm going to be talking about that in a moment as we go through the client proposition, but that's obviously a big deal. And in fact, we even pay people to take a free shelf corp and use it for funding. But again, we'll get to that in a few minutes. And then ultimately, the goal is to inject capital, to get money into the hands, the pockets, the bank accounts of entrepreneurs across the country so they're able to grow and hit their potential. They're able to contribute to their local community, their tax base, hire employees, and so forth. That's why we got the grant. So those are the three mandates, and they're certainly overlapping and interrelated, but that'll make some more sense when we get over here in a moment. I just wanted to quickly, for those of you that are interested in being an affiliate, make sure you understand how that model works. And again, we're going to spend most of our time on more of the client proposition. So, having a large network of affiliates is an important part of our growth strategy, our outreach, our community outreach strategy for 2026 for the upcoming year. And we invite any of you to be an affiliate. Of course, there's no cost, there's no prerequisites. You don't have to buy anything, you don't have to spend any money. So, it's an opportunity to help people and earn a really good income. So, with that being said, the affiliate proposition is strong. So, as with most affiliate programs, and if you want to look up affiliate marketing, it's a major part, it's a significant part of how a lot of businesses grow. And so you could become an affiliate of 1,000 different programs, if you will, that's out there. Most affiliate programs do not cost to be an affiliate, and we don't either. Our payout is crazy simple. Doesn't require a calculator or rocket science to figure it out. We provide all affiliates a free landing page. It'll look just like this one here. And then you drive people in. We do all the work. the participants slash clients get the capital raise, and you're paid 5% of each referred person's capital raise. So, I mean, it's not get rich quick. It's not too good to be true, but you know, and if you don't know, you should know, we guarantee, which ties to third mandate, we guarantee that every participant that goes through the program, we guarantee them at least 100,000 capital raise. So if they're getting 100,000, you refer them in, they're getting at least 100,000, you're getting 5%. That's 5,000 to you for each one. I have to admit, I'm sometimes bamboozled, confused with the mindset of some of our distribution partners, because from my humble background, I used to be a high school teacher and then was a college professor and worked for the SBA. To me, $5,000 equated to about a month's worth of salary for many of the jobs, W-2 jobs I've had in the past. Here, someone can earn 5,000 for submitting one person for free into their landing page. But for some of you, it doesn't seem like that's enough, and I guess you have bigger expectations than I do. But to me, $5,000 is not bad for referring someone in. That's on the low end. Most of our clients slash grant participants don't want to stop at 100,000. A million is the average. Well, if you take that same 5% and multiply that times a million, now you're making 50,000 per referral. And again, you've got John Stockton and you got Lainey Morissette. Now I know 50,000 is a drip in the bucket for you big hitters. But for the average person, the average American only makes 50,000 a year. And in our proposition, we're saying be an affiliate for free, help people, and you could reasonably make what people make in a year for them submitting one damn lead. One lead equals a year's salary, and there's no cap. You can help a person a month, a person a week, a person a day. It's up to you. As an affiliate, it's real easy to get started. You'll go to 509pacific.org, our website. I'll show you the link in a moment. It's easy. You sign up. Again, it doesn't cost anything now or later. You'll get an affiliate onboarding email. We're a little bit behind on those, but normally within 24 to 48 hours of signing up, you'll get your onboarding email. And then you'll use a temporary link to submit your first deal. And once you've submitted your first deal, then we'll pay you the commission. We'll get the W-9 and direct deposit information, pay you the commission. Then you'll get the free landing page. But the free landing page and the temp landing page, frankly, looks the same. It looks just like this. So that's the affiliate proposition, which is important to us, but it's not really our priority discussion today. What I want to spend primary time today on is making sure you understand the grant and the resources that are available to help small business owners. So on the left-hand side of the screen, again, is 509 Pacific. There are three main sections to the home page. There's the quick cash section, which is not our focus today. It's a great resource. There's a training video so you can learn more and a link to participate. So again, you're welcome to participate in that. You're welcome to review it. It's not our focus today, but there it is. The middle section of the home page, which is also not our primary point of discussion today, the third will be, is we were talking about giving away those free shelf corps. As part of our mandates. And so this is where participants can come get a free shelf corp. So we provide them a free shelf corp. It includes things such as the business entity that's owned by the client, the grant participant, comes with the business plan, comes with financial projections, comes with the commercial address, comes with collateral. Takes us about 7 days to get that delivered to them from once they enroll. We also pay them $1,000 to participate, which I mentioned, and all of that is in this grant packet right here. So very transparent. Come to 509pacific.org. Now, as far as who would need a free shelf corp, who needs that? Why is it relevant? Well, if our goal is to get business funding, we need to have a fundable business. And there's a few elements to that, which we'll go into. But at the most basic level, we need the foundation, right? Let's say that you and I were going to go build a house. what's the first thing that we need? I would argue we need a piece of land, a piece of property, because no matter if you wanted a little house, a big house, fancy house, a simple house, a one story or a multi story, we need land. Well, before we go for business funding, we need to have the foundation. We need to have a fundable entity. And those elements include the entity itself in good standing at the state and federal level, the business plan, the projections, the address, and the collateral. So that's what's kind of packaged as a business in a box. Now, for those of you who are our affiliates, you might run into some people that love this or they might need it. They might say, oh, no, 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 I already have a business. That's fine. We're not forcing it on them. But if they don't have a fundable business infrastructure, if they don't have the land to build their house on, this is a really good place to start. So that's available. Now, our primary focus, though, is here at the bottom of the page, which ties to the landing pages that we provide our affiliates for free. What we are really enjoying and succeeding with is bringing folks in, prospective participants, clients, grant participants, whatever you'd like to call them, in through this campaign, through this offering. And it's real simple. And it's kind of described succinctly here on the landing page that each of you either have or will get. Do you need funding to start or grow a business? Request a free funding proposal to see what you qualify for by simply completing the form below. There's no minimum credit scores, no upfront costs. So again, we're not talking about the affiliate program now. We're talking about for the participants. So participants can come get a free funding proposal, no upfront cost for them either. No credit, no hard credit inquiries. There's not a minimum time in business. So in other words, they could have no business, they could have a startup, or they could have an existing business. They'll get offers. Everyone gets at least one offer, but they'll get offers or offer at least. Pick the ones they want, decline those that they don't. And again, as an affiliate, this will be coded to you. So this link, this number at the end will be coded to you. So all of the people that come to your landing page are credited to you. So the funding proposal highlights is as somewhat referenced to already. In other words, why would someone participate in getting a free funding proposal? Well, if they have a problem, you and I have a solution. If their problem is they need money to start or grow a business, this is where we would start. And so, with that being said, there's going to be some people you talk to that's worried about their personal credit. And they're like, oh, I don't know if this will work for me. My personal credit's not so good. There's not a minimum credit score. And in fact, we help the participants, as we'll get to in a moment, improve their personal credit profile. So, no, they don't have to, and they don't have to filter themselves out based upon historical credit worthiness. Again, no upfront cost, which was stated over here as well. That's why our affiliates are doing so well. Take someone like Mr. Newton, who's online. He's able to succinctly describe just this. And yesterday we talked about some risks of talking too much. But you don't need to talk much. This is really all that you need to share with people. And there's a lot of people that are interested if you educate them. What I had to work pretty hard on getting Mr. Newton over is he felt that, did he have the personal strength, the personal experience, the personal education? Could he answer all the questions? But that's not the role of the affiliate as we went into depth yesterday. It's just simply to introduce and offer them to get a free funding proposal. If you're saying much more than what's here on the screen, you're going to actually make less money because you're talking too much. So no hard inquiries to get offers. We've talked about no minimum time in business. They could either have a business or not even have a business yet and still participate. As far as how much they get from their first round, there's not a specific answer. That's why they have to go through the process. We frequently see people that get offers of 100,000, 250,000 or more with just this first tranche. But we're going to talk about tranches in a second, so hold that. Again, the participants get to pick the offers they want. That's another concern you might have. You might talk to a prospect and they say, well, what if I don't like the interest rate or I don't like the terms? Then don't accept it. We're going to get you the offers that you qualify for. Take the ones you want, don't take the ones you don't want. And then, as I mentioned, we know that some people have ran into credit issues, and part of our value proposition is to have our legal team help them improve their personal credit if that's relevant. So there's a few resources here at the bottom, and I'm going to pull this up for a moment. We're not going to let it play, but we're going to start it because it has a graphic that I want to show. So you're doing very well. Pause. Okay. So this, I just pulled up the link here that talks about success stories. The reason I'm bringing it up is really this graphic, the red graphic on the right. If you understand this, then I think the model will make sense. If you don't understand what's on this graphic, then it may seem disjointed. So we start everyone with a free funding proposal, which is this first column right here. And it's highlighted by the things we've already discussed. I don't need to tell you more about that, but here's the free funding proposal. So in other words, people come in, they fill out the simple app. It's a simple one page, no docs required, self-reported information. They get the offers and they get funding normally within 7 days on that first tranche. But that's not meant to be too good to be true. Oh, does that mean that they'll get $1 million off of their first tranche, off their free funding proposal? I mean, it's possible, but normally no. Normally no. Then we move into the second box, the second step. The second step is what we do as technical advisors is then we work with the client to the grant participant to improve the fundability of their business. So let's say that they don't have a business yet. Can they still get a funding proposal and get at least one offer? Most people get multiple. Absolutely. Could it be that when we go through the funding proposal, we see that they lack a foundation of a good business and they might benefit from the free shelf corp? Sure, it might. It's not like a bait and switch, just doing funding proposals to get them to take a free shelf corp, but certainly these two can work together. But they could start with the funding proposal and then come back and get the shelf corp if needed. So the second box is really important in understanding what we do because it's taking the client from where they're at and then working with them to become strong enough legally and ethically on paper to be fundable enough for a very large capital raise. So this is really the value proposition that we offer. So what we're doing is getting them an initial funding proposal, no upfront cost, all these benefits we've talked about. They get money in their pocket, funding in their pocket, normally within 7 days. Then at that point, we can work with them to build out their business, whether it be their own business or using a free shelf corp to be able to qualify for a larger amount based upon what they want and need. Some people say, well, what does that mean? What do you do? Well, in brief, we can go in and modify the business plan and projections to match what they need. And then secondly, we can work on the three C's. So if you're familiar with the three C's, it's credit, collateral, and capacity. Those are the primary variables that impact how fundable a business is. And that's what we do in that second column in building fundability. So let's say that they don't have good personal credit. Well, some lenders, some types of funding don't require good personal credit, but regardless, I think everyone would benefit from having a high score like you and I have. So we can help them with personal credit, but more importantly, we help them with business credit. We actually have a dedicated staff person now that works with each grant participant to add trade lines and build out their business credit profile. So that's included. That's part of what we do. So that's one of the C's, one of the three C's, credit. The second of the three C's is capacity, sometimes called cash flow. And so that's demonstrating to the lender that we can afford the money that we want to borrow. So we accomplish that in two ways. Number one, we provide them the financial projections up front. That's ready to go. And that's projecting about 1.2 to 1.3 million of annual income. If we need to change that, we can change that. And if it needs to be more, we can increase that. So the projections is one part of that value proposition of capacity, cash flow. And then the other is we can actually add deposits into the business's bank account, whether they're using a shelf corp or using their own business. So that's the second of the three C's. And the third of the three C's that we help with legally and ethically would be addressing collateral. Not all types, but some sources of capital require collateral. And so we assess what the client has, what the grant participant has, and if the type of funding that they want, they don't qualify for because they don't have enough collateral, we can do one of two things. Either we can transfer more collateral to them legally and ethically, or we can change the type of financing to be a type that's not collateral based. So a lot of talk there, but this is a skill set called technical advising in this middle column that if you've not watched this training video here, I really encourage you to do it because then you'll have a deeper understanding. Under funding proposal, we have get a free funding proposal, but quite frankly, that's the same link up here. And so if someone clicks that, it's going to bring up the simple one-page app. The top of the app is business information. All of it is optional. So as I mentioned several times, let's say you have someone that doesn't have a business at all, or say, oh, it doesn't work. No, anything on the top is optional. If you have some of it, fine. If you have none of it, fine. Bottom half is business owner information referred to as key person. Some people say, well, oh no, no, I don't want to be involved with my capital raise. I just want my business to get funding. Well, due to most lenders' requirements, I think it's going to be rare, maybe impossible, to find funding whereby the lender or the extender of credit doesn't want to know who the business owner is. So does it have to be based on the business owner's credit or does it require a personal guarantor? No, not in all cases, but they are going to want to know who's behind the business. So we would always need the bottom half of the app filled out and the top half is fine. If they don't have it, it's okay. So the funding proposal is simple. Now, again, if you're an affiliate, you're never, ever, ever going to refer people here. Instead, you're going to have that free landing page that I showed you, and you'll drive them through there so you get credit. As far as becoming an affiliate for free, which we made reference to earlier on our little notepad here. So it's real simple to become an affiliate here, no cost, no strings attached. And then here is where to register for our daily live webinars. We've had a number of you request that we add one more training video, which was actually the one that we held yesterday that talked about how to keep it simple, and we role played a bit and talked about how to avoid pitfalls of not being successful. So we'll probably add that. But with that being said, let's go to the questions, comments, concerns that any of you have. So if you're joining us this morning because you're interested in getting funding to start or grow a business, let's make sure that we answer your questions. And if you are a current and or a prospective affiliate, let's make sure that we answer your questions. All right, so Eric brings up a good point, and we hit upon this yesterday. If you are going to become a distribution partner, just remember to keep it simple. You're going to be only asking people to get a free funding proposal. You don't need to be deeply trained. You don't need to explain everything. All you're doing is inviting people to get a free funding proposal. And we have a full legal team, which I kind of skipped over. I didn't mean to, but we have a full legal team now that's going to work with each grant participant, each client, in helping them. So it's not your job as an affiliate to know all the answers. And frankly, we don't want you trying to give the answers because what if you don't get it right? And then someone signs up and they come to us and they say, well, no, no, no. Christopher said something different, or Corinthian said something different, or that's not what Doug said. So we don't want you all to be the messenger. We just want you to invite for a free funding proposal. From that, you're paid generously. We do all the work. And that's an important point we made yesterday, and I'm reemphasizing today. All right, Mr. Jackson asked a question, and it's a good one. So There's many, many, many different types of funding, different types of capital. And from that, each have their own underwriting criteria. So we have a process, we have a software that has algorithms that does a lender match. So when participants come through the funding proposal process, part of that is we complete an intake form with them, and that's where we understand how much capital they're looking to raise and their intended uses of funds. In other words, their shopping list. So all those variables about that grant participant goes into the software, and the software then attempts to do a match of what is the right type of funding for that given client. So anytime you have questions about the three C's, credit, collateral, capacity, the answer is always going to be it depends. It depends on which funding source we're going after. But the concept is real simple. Either people have the credibility factors for the type of funding they want, or we need to increase their credibility factors to match it, or we need to change funding type to match their circumstances. But that's a whole other deep, long discussion. But the bottom line is if you are an affiliate, all you really need to know is how to invite people to get a free funding proposal. As we look towards, as we wrap up today, but as we look towards next year, so we're not in 2026 yet, but we're essentially a couple weeks away from a new year. I wanted to conclude today by asking each of you, and I won't call you out, not trying to embarrass anyone, but have you put together your plan for 2026? Because I think this is a great time of the year to kind of assess how did things go this year in 2025 and put on paper specific goals from 2026. What I would invite each of you to do, and I guess I can add that to the notes here, is that we would invite each of you in 2026 to earn at least 1.2 million, in other words, 100,000 per month by being an affiliate. It's a big number. And I don't know how many of you reached over 1 million in personal income this year. And I know some of you did, but I don't know how many of you did. And it's really none of my business. But I do believe that with no investment on your behalf, we can put together a plan, execute that plan, and get you at least at $1.2 million in affiliate-based income in 2026. Is that enough to get your interest, to get you involved, to get some level of participation? That's my question. If you don't mind putting a yes or no into the Q&A. So we have 534 of you. So let's start with Amanda. Amanda Stanley, thank you for being on. You are an affiliate. No offense, you're not active right now. Would 1.2 million next year be enough to be worth your time to get involved? Because I'm not asking you to make an investment, right? I'm not asking you to spend time. I'm just saying, can you spend some attention and focus? So, Amanda, I look forward to your response. We got several answers. Corinthian, you and I are friends and business associates for quite some time. I don't know if you hit 1.2 million this past year. You probably did. You're a very smart lady. But could we work together, Corinthian, for 2026? If you could really make 100,000 a month. And again, I'm not trying to sell you something. What's it cost to be an affiliate? Nothing. Nothing. Rod's here, and Rod, you're great. Rod, you've talked to me quite a while about how now's time, but now's the time, and so Rod's waiting for his own landing page, and that's fine. So through the affiliate model, it comes free, but you need to submit your first deal. They go through. They generate commissions for you. So now you've got confirmation, you've got confidence. Yeah, this works. People get funding, you get paid, then we'll build out your landing page and we can rock and roll. So really the concept is between now and the end of the month, but the sooner the better. Let's get your first deal in. Let's get them funded. Let's get you your first affiliate commission check. And then let's blow the doors off in 2026. All right, so I see Michael's response, and Michael is not really that enamored with 1.2 million. Well, and that's fine. So there's not a cap. There's not a cap. You see the formula for how you're paid. So let's say that you wanted to make $1 million a month. That's a really big number, but it just means you're driving more people into your landing page. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to spend any time servicing clients. But Michael's got a good point. This is just a general goal that we have for each of you. I think this is something that anyone and everyone can accomplish. But if you're more aggressive and more committed, this is not a cap, right? The more people we do and the bigger the deals, the better. All right, so Rod says he has 7 clients to enroll. Well, you have a temporary landing page. All of you do, if you've signed up as an affiliate. So for any of you, Rod or anyone else, and I'm glad that Rod brings it up. If you somehow are waiting for us to submit deals to make money, you're way off. You're way off because from the time that you sign up to be an affiliate for free, you get an onboarding email pretty quickly. And again, we're a little bit behind, but we'll be caught up by tomorrow. Once you have that onboarding email, you have a temporary link to start submitting people on. So, Rod, if you've got 7 people and you're not submitting them, that's horrible, right? Because they need help. You're not helping them, and you could make money. So, yes, the trigger to get your own landing page for free is once you've submitted at least one person in that's gone through, gotten funding, so that way you've got a commission and now we know that you're a real player. But yeah, for Rod or anyone else, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as Rod has, then you need to be using your temp link and processing. That's bizarre to not do so. Maybe I don't see it your perspective. All right, Mr. Barker, William, Troy, just there's several of you that didn't answer, and I just want your honest opinion as we wrap up. If we could work together to get you really 100,000 a month in affiliate earnings into your account, no investment, no risk, is that enough for you to kind of get off the fence and get engaged? Now, some of you are saying, hey, you can make more money doing other things. And I respect that. This doesn't have to be all inclusive. It's not where you have to do this full time. So yeah, for Troy that's already making over $1 million a year, go ahead and keep doing what you're doing, but would it not make sense to diversify a little bit and earn an extra $1 million a year helping people? Affiliate marketing is the real deal. I think some of you are not as familiar with how lucrative it can be. All right, so with wrapping up, we'll be back tomorrow morning. It's really this simple. If you want to take action, then we can help people and you can make money. If you're one of those people that's not action oriented, you can join us for the Zoom every day and think about it. But there's going to be a good number of us that are going to be making 100,000 a month starting in January. And this is the time to start building your funnel and getting ready for that. If you want that reality, it takes your involvement, your attention, not your investment, but well, investment of a little bit of time, but not investment of money. So with that being said, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Anything that you need, you have our tech support line, you have our actual landline. Let us know. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. But the ball's in your court. Bye bye.